Hi, it's Susan, and welcome to Between Sips. I was thinking the other day how I started this podcast and what is the essence of it? And then I realized, oh yeah, it goes all the way back to the 90s when I used to watch a little-known show called Saturday Night Live. You might know it. On there was this particular sketch that Mike Myers was featured in called Coffee Talk with Paula Baldwin. Paula Baldwin was this New York Jewish woman who would invite friends over for coffee and a talk. And so here we are. This is my version of that. And while I'll be inviting a lot of my friends to have talks, I might drop in an episode or two here and there solo. This is an extension of my business called Susan's Little Cup of Magic, so it all ties into the coffee talk thing. I hope in this podcast that you can feel that it's cozy, chill, conversational, but above all, these conversations are meant to connect and to bring something inspiring and motivating to you, for us, to feel that connection. And if something does inspire you here today, while you're listening, please drop a comment down below. Now, if you want to know where to find my podcast, it's in two places. It's here on YouTube, it's on anywhere you can hear a podcast, but it originates over on Substack. And if you want to join the community or maybe become a guest on Coffee Talk, or aka Between Sips, join me over there on Substack. This next episode is fresh and ready for you, so grab your cups and let's go listen. Hey, it's Susan here. Today I'm just doing a quick solo episode with you just to check in and say hi, but also I've been teasing this little idea of having a solo episode for a while. And because there's been so much going on, it's just a little easier. And I also want to connect more. I want you a little more into my world. I've had lots of ideas. I've had a lot of connections, and so much has been going on. I haven't had time to figure out how to put it anywhere. I love this day and age that we're living in, that we can pick up a mic and start talking, or we can sit down and type on a typewriter, on a keyboard, or set up our phone and make a video. I love all these ways that we can express ourselves. And I will admit, sometimes my perfectionist shows up and I freeze up. And other times I just don't have the bandwidth or the energy to execute. A big issue for ADHDers. We run out of dopamine. So sometimes it's just the path of least resistance. And today that is this. I'm literally talking into my phone. And I do that a lot for ideas to process them out. But I thought today I would share one of these on Between Sips. I'm reflecting a lot on the last 6 months. In about a couple of days, it'll be 6 months ago that I launched my business on Substack. And what an amazing journey it has been so far. Now, I'm not going to blow you away with big numbers. They're not super impressive numbers, but they're impressive to me. I've been in business for over 11 years now, and I really love and enjoy the work I do as a coach, a healer, and I love generating different types of content to reach more people. I love this whole world we're in where we can connect in a moment's notice. It's amazing. 6 months ago, I made the bold decision to just flip the switch, and I love what I see. I think I'm around 50 new subscribers. I've got a new podcast. I've made new friends on Substack, people I really turn and look at their content and feel so connected to them. My YouTube channel has also grown. Things are just headed in the right direction. No one gave me that advice or tip. It was a series of cues and intuition. And after years of trying to figure out Facebook, Instagram, heck, even my email provider, I decided I'm just going to follow that intuition and see what happens. No one else I knew was on Substack. I had tried Substack 2023 when I had a burnout, and I just wanted it to be like my little private corner of the internet. This time, I was coming back with my business. I don't have everything figured out. I'm not the Substack guru, but I have met a few people on Substack who really helped me out. Also, along the way, as I mentioned, I started this podcast. Substack made that really easy. Now, if you had asked me even 7 months ago if I would start another podcast, I would have said, no. I started a podcast right around the time podcasts were new, and I called my podcast Guided. And I loved the process of learning it. I'm an experimenter. Just give it a try, see if it's for you kind of person. And that podcast evolved into something I no longer felt connected with. So that's why it's interesting. I find myself now back here. And I do that. I'll come back to something, but I really just flipped the switch and opened with an interview or conversation type chat with a friend who was launching a new book. And I decided to do this podcast with video. Now, today's episode does not, and there's another episode that doesn't. But for the most part, I want to launch any conversations I can in video format. It's not a hard rule for me, but I do like to have that element. That means more work, and I'm happy to do it. When I pressed go on Between Sips, I really wasn't sure what it was going to be. And this is how it goes for me. I just get this feeling that this is something I want to do. The rest falls in place later. I've always felt kind of funny about that's my process, because I see other people, of course, comparisonitis will kill your joy, but people always seem to plan things out really well. And I just don't plan. I do. Now, when I look at the last few episodes I've done, I've only done a few, the conversations I've had, I always learn something from them. I think it's the best way to find out more or learn more about yourself. And also the person you're talking to. It's really powerful. But when I look at a few of the episodes where I'm interviewing the person, right? I've learned something in each of them, and they all come down to something that's key. Like with Nicolene, a main question that is in that interview. That's the first episode. What lights you up? With Spencer, it was looking for little moments of joy. And I did another interview with a friend that didn't make the podcast. I'll link that video too. And it's all about writing and creating. Following that creative urge is amazing. All of these people that I've interviewed have given me reminders, tips, things to remember, like we're all creative and we all have intuition. I think we get talked out of that very early. This morning I was watching a video, this creator that I've stumbled across, as you do. She was talking about how music shaped her as a teenager, right? When the world wasn't making sense, music was where she could find sense. And I loved what she was talking about. That art and music and books are where we start to discover who we are. Much like that, I feel like this to me is an art form as well. When I'm having these conversations with people I know personally, and when I'm coming to the mic or writing a blog post, whatever it is, to me, it's not just about dumping my brains, although there's a lot of that going on. It's art. Art is an expression of self, of a longing, of a story you want out in the world. And there's more she talked about in that video that was important. But everything she was saying just was bringing it back to me. That's what content is meant to do. That's what art and music is meant to do as well. What can you find in it for you? And if it's doing its work, and this is what she said, it'll change you in some way. It'll awaken your passion. I really believe we all need to come into contact with those passions, our purpose, our intuition, because that's really nothing anyone can mess with. That's you. That's you talking to you, reminding you this is for you. So going back to these podcast episodes and these conversations with good friends, tapping into your intuition, finding out moments of joy, what lights you up. This is a way to tap into that. Pressing a button to start a new podcast. I was just thinking I want to put this somewhere so that I can remember it. I had no plan. Then it came together in a beautiful way that feels so me. It feels like the girl from when I was young, wanting to have conversations with people, learning from each other, connecting. And I had another talk the other day. I was gifted this amazing session with another Substacker I met. And she was all about developing a creative practice. And I want to give her more space than I have time in this podcast episode. But Vanessa, this is a shout out to you. And the thing that she helped me with was connecting into my own creative practice with a project that's really personal to me, which is my book. We are all creators. We all are naturally creative and whole. That was a main principle in my coaching career. And when you give yourself that, I'm whole as I am, I'm naturally whole and creative, then there's nothing not meant for you. Creating a practice, being playful, tapping into your inner child, I think is what we really need to be doing more of. Listening to music that moves us, reading books that get us thinking about our lives, and conversation, connecting with others, hearing their stories. That's where I really feel passionate about. So Between Sips was kind of an accident and a happy one I'm glad for, because I see how it's coming together more and more. How I'm calling in more of these conversations, not just for myself, though I'm getting so much out of them, to create this art, to remind us of ourselves, what is in store for ourselves. I have so many ideas in a day, and I don't always have the energy to execute them. But I know that it's not feeble to share. It sometimes can be daunting when there's so much going on, but there are so many ways we can share our voice, our thoughts, our passions. Right now I'm doing this through the mic, a little tiny hole in my phone, because it was the path of least resistance and I was ready to share. Other times it'll be on my laptop or behind a camera pressing record. It is such a beautiful time that we're living in that we can share in a moment's notice. And your story matters. Your story, my story, our story. Because the more we share from that place of what lights us up, what brings us joy, the more we can understand what's meant for us and follow our intuition. It's time to trust that instinct, that idea, that thought more. And that's what I'm planning on doing here. If you haven't already, please subscribe here where you find your podcast. I plan on sharing more. This is the month that I turn another age, and I want the next 6 months to be just as powerful as the last. Thanks for listening. From my cup to yours. Thank you for listening to this latest episode of Between Sips. If you liked what you heard, please consider subscribing to this channel. Or if you want to continue this conversation, join my community over on Substack. You'll find all the information below. And thank you for listening. Until next time, from my cup to yours.